We have been looking forward to this one, Jones.
Always.
The last time Alyssa Ustby was here, she was a baby. It was December 14th of 2021.
Wow.
And we were just talking about a lot of things have changed.
3+ years since then.
This might be the longest gap between appearances. Like some people have had multiple appearances, but they've been pretty close together. This one is longer.
Yeah.
And so we've been trying to find time to do this, and we're so thankful that she came by. So Alyssa, thanks so much for coming by.
Of course. I'm so happy to be back.
So tell us everything that's happened in the last 3 years.
All right. Start on December 15th of that year. Here we go.
Oh, geez. There's a lot that has happened since then. But, again, just so excited to be hanging out with you guys today.
What's happening right now is that the Tar Heels are playing incredibly well. 20-4, just came off being the first men's or women's team to sweep the California trip. What was that trip out west like?
That trip out west was incredible. I mean, we obviously 2 wins, so we're feeling happy and we're excited about it. But the trip itself, that was an adventure. Going all the way across the country and adjusting to a time zone change and playing 2 very quality opponents, like that was a business trip for sure. And I'm glad that we got the job done so we could keep this season rolling and just keep firing on all cylinders.
I do want to kind of talk big picture and what's changed since we saw you last, but for what is working with this particular team? We've had a couple players in here with us. We had Indy and Navarre on a couple of weeks ago, but from your perspective, you've seen a lot of different teams through your years here. You've seen a lot of different combinations of players. What is it about this group that's working?
Yeah, I mean, when we got to look at both ends of the ball. So offensively, this team is very balanced. We're not concerned about who gets the shot. We just want the best shot and the most open one. And we know each other's strengths really well. And so we're constantly working for each other, which is something that has made our offense almost seamless at times. Obviously, we've had our ups and downs where we get a little stagnant, but we're really good at assessing in the game and being able to figure out how can I get Renaya a pull-up or how can I get Maria a low post touch. Like, we're all so involved in the decision-making on the offensive end that we've just found so much success there. And then defensively, like, more so than any other year, it feels like I'm like, if India needs help on a drive, I feel like I'm helping India. I'm not just like stepping over to help because I have to. I'm like, no, I don't want India to get like blown by or like somebody to get into her hip and go finish a layup. So it's so much more like, I don't know, I feel like we got like 5 girls on the court all the time that are ready to rock and they're like, let's go. We're not letting anybody in our paint. And there's so much pride and so much passion with this group that we've just keep finding success through that.
It does feel like this group really likes each other. And I saw Coach Banghart, I think she was talking to Matt Krause sometime this week, and she was talking about that trip and how it sounds like they were really hardcore with you about you couldn't sleep on the way out there. Mm-hmm. So when this group is together and they're not allowed to sleep on their long plane trip out west, what did y'all do?
Yeah, actually, a lot of people brought their books, and a lot of people were reading, which was pretty impressive.
Lady Grant's rubbing off on everybody.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of us have been reading already.
She didn't invent reading?
Wait, she invented books.
No, she did not invent it. But yeah, we have a good like reading party, so a lot of us did that. We brought some Uno cards, so we're all sitting on the floor in the plane, which I do not advise, but just for safety reasons and whatever. But we're all sitting on the floor because we have like a group of 6 or 7 girls that all want to play Uno. So we're just keeping tally of who's winning, and the time surprisingly flew by.
What are you reading right now?
I'm like bouncing around through a couple books. I usually like to read like self-improvement books, and so I'm reading The Inner Game of Tennis.
Somebody else is I can't remember who it was, but that's not the first time we've heard
really
that
good.
People are reading.
Yeah,
that.
I've heard it's pretty popular, and it's pretty good so far, but I usually bounce around. So
who was it? It wasn't a tennis player because we talked about how okay. Someone listening will remember and they'll remind us.
Yeah.
Okay. This is your 5th year.
Yeah.
We have seen across college athletics, and obviously this is a unique time with this year being available. It isn't normally the case. Sometimes these 5th years go great, and sometimes they don't. What has made this one a positive experience for you? Because I think at times there are some people where it's kind of like, all right, I'm going to do this again. And so 5 years is a long time. So why was this good for you?
Yeah, this year has been great for me, and I'm really fortunate. It's because of the people that I'm playing with and the people in our program. Because I have a lot of friends that are taking their 5th years at various schools, and their experience is completely different. And whether they're like the same player now as they were the years before, it doesn't really matter because it's really dependent on like the girls that you choose to play with and the coach that you have in your program. And again, like this experience has been nothing short of amazing, and I'm so glad that I continued to stay in this program and take my 5th year here. It's just been amazing, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
It feels like sometimes when it goes wrong because it's just like, okay, I'll do the 5th year and it'll be the same as the other 4. I'll do the exact same thing I did. It feels like you've really consciously tried to say, this is gonna be something new and different, and I'm gonna become a different player and have different experiences. What all has been different about year 5?
I think the difference about year 5 is kind of my mentality, and that's allowing myself to realize that just because I've like been here for a college career plus 1 year, it doesn't mean that the journey is going to be any easier. It doesn't mean the season's going to be any easier. I'm going to face a challenge, but the challenge will look different. I don't know what it's going to be this year, but there's going to be some adversity that I face. And I had to kind of put that into perspective because I'm assuming I'm like, oh yeah, 5th year. Like I've been here. I've already played all the like tough teams. I've done all the hard stuff. And I'm like, okay, so like everything should be like easy and familiar, right? But no. So understanding that and then being comfortable with being uncomfortable was really a key in order to help me like keep growing and keep expanding my game as much as I can.
I was going to say you've expanded. We're seeing you shoot from the outside more. Oh, yeah, we even got the 3 celebration ready. That's become a part of your game, though. It wasn't necessarily the case earlier in your career.
Yeah, no, I've had a lot of hiccups with my 3-point shot. And it's pretty incredible. Even just, I know a lot of people can like reminisce on their high school days and stuff and just kind of where their shot was before. Like I never thought that it would be my 3-point shot that I would struggle with or that I would start second guessing. So that was a big like blip in my career. And so kind of going down to ground zero, restructuring my shot, figuring it out, building up my confidence over the summer, just every day putting in some more work. Finally, I'm reaping the benefits of all those days.
I would have to think an experienced player who has had success, like changing your shot is not an easy thing to do at this point of your journey.
At all.
What was that process like for you?
It was a very mundane process. I think there was probably for a month straight, I didn't shoot any shot outside of like 2 feet. And so it was literally just like hundreds of form shots. And it was every single day because it's not like I was like lifting every day where I needed an off day to help myself recover. It was like 7 days a week, just doing the same thing over and over and over again for a month because I'm having to build muscle memory that some people have been building their muscle memory since middle school or high school because they have the same shot that they've always had.
Sure.
But I've had to just scratch the whole thing and like come back from ground zero. And then eventually started gradually moving out. But yeah, so.
Why take that chance? Because you were already good. Like it wasn't like you weren't having a very, very good career at Carolina. That was taking a chance to do that.
Yeah. I felt like not only did I need that for myself to continue growing and expanding my personal game, but I felt like that was a necessary step for our team. So knowing that we have such a dominant presence in Maria, I know that I have to be a threat from the perimeter if I'm going to be standing out there. And it's really hard for teams to play 2 low post players. And like last year and in the beginning of this year, it's like I'm standing on the perimeter and my defender is like clogging the paint. I'm like, we can't have that. Like that limits Lexi's drives, India and Renaya's drives. And that just, I think personally, I knew that would limit our team's success. And I was like, so I need to become a threat from 3 if I'm going to be standing on the perimeter. Otherwise, it's just going to be an unfair advantage to the other team. Obviously, there's other things you can get into, like go set a ball screen and hand off to make them pay for that. But I just knew that that's what I would need personally, and it would be better for our team.
You have always played this way, but I've noticed it more this year in watching you play. Like the way that you angle yourself is crazy to me. Like, has that always been something that was just easy for you to do? Like the way you maneuver around people isn't like normal looking to me. How do you do it?
Wait, like in what sense?
I don't know.
Like
it
where?
Looks like I just feel like you like you're
when I'm
able to,
driving or something, or like on defense,
I just feel like when somebody's guarding you one-on-one, you are able to like contort your body and do some things to get around them to shoot.
Yeah.
Has that always been just easy for you? Because that's not something that everybody does.
Right. No, that's definitely something I've had to adapt to just because I'm such a versatile player. I see so many different types of defenders. So I see the shorter, really quick defenders, or I get a tall and long and lengthy defender. And so I've just never seen a change in defender as a stop sign. I'm like, I know there's a way I can get around. And yeah, so I've always done that. Yeah, and it's definitely played to my advantage.
Yeah.
How's your dad doing?
Oh, my dad's great.
Has he enjoyed getting this extra year to do this? For those who don't know, Alyssa's dad's always at the games, and I always feel better when I see him there because I look for him, and if he's not there, I would be concerned, but that's never a problem because he's always there. He's always wearing his Alyssa jersey, and he always looks like he's having an awesome time.
Yeah.
What's having this bonus year been like for him?
Yeah, so fun fact, my dad actually has not missed one single game in Carmichael.
Wow.
In 5 years.
And again, he doesn't live in Pittsburgh. Alyssa's from far away.
Yes. And yeah, he's just been absolutely loving it. I knew that I was going to take my 5th year, and so did he. So he was getting ready to buckle down for one more. But he's just absolutely having a blast. I see him like jumping up and down when we're like throwing out T-shirts or hot dogs and stuff. So he's just kind of a kid out there, which I really appreciate having him there. And I look to him like throughout the game from time to time, and he's always just giving me like 2 big thumbs up. And he's like, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. And he's not one of those parents that's like yelling at me, trying to tell me to do things. He's just like, if I ever like look over to him and we make eye contact, he's just like trying to give me some support. So he's so amazing.
Makes me happy to think about Alyssa like glancing in the crowd and her dad just giving her like, "You're doing great, honey."
And I'm like, oh my gosh, people can definitely see you. But I'm like, it's whatever at this point. They've been seeing him around for 5 years, so.
Yeah, but you know what? Like, if you're a parent and you're listening to this, your kid is not as good as Alyssa Ustby. But if your kid plays a sport, like, that's what you should be doing.
Yeah.
No matter how old they are. Like, if they see you during the game, you should be like, yeah, God, I'm loving this. Like, even if she's 0 for 17.
Right.
I've never seen anything better than this in my entire life. That's how you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
One of the other things you do that I really like is you've done, like, basically every sport at Carolina at this point. Mm-hmm. What made you decide to start doing that, and what have you liked about it?
Yeah, so I started a series that I've posted videos on both TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts, and there's a couple reasons why I started it. One is I recognize that there's like, obviously the school gets a lot of attention for basketball, rightfully so, and I started to realize and like look around at the other sports, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like our school is really good at a lot of things, and they have been for quite some time. And I'm like, but I literally never knew that until I became an athlete on campus and they became my peers. And so reason number one is I wanted to shed some light on some other programs that were doing incredible things. And so obviously started with the soccer team. So great way to start. They've just had just a dynasty of soccer just wins and stuff. So that was the main reason. And then also because I'm a big promoter of being a multi-sport athlete. I played 3 sports in high school, and I played them through my senior year, even though I was committed here for basketball. So that's been a big part of my journey and part of why I'm the athlete I am today. And so that was also a way to promote being a multi-sport athlete. So that was kind of where it started.
What's the hardest one that you've tried?
I don't know. I think my hardest one was probably gymnastics. Those girls are insanely strong, and I just don't have the flexibility they have. So you're going to be very limited if you don't have those 2 things. And then I would say my next one, also because I didn't do it a lot growing up, is swimming. Like, I can swim to survive, but I am not going to swim to win anything at all. So...
Okay, I feel like we're good enough friends that I can ask you this question.
Oh, jeez.
So, the Duke game, you had a triple-double, but one of them was turnovers.
Yeah.
What was that?
Brutal. Absolutely brutal. I think I sobbed for like a couple hours after the game.
But you won the game.
I know we did, but that's just not. And when I saw one of the ESPN headlines that pointed that out, I was like, really? I'm like, I'm in.
What kind of jerk would point that out?
I'm studying journalism. I'm in ad and PR. I'm like, I know why you did that, but I don't know why you had to. I'm like, there are so many, like, oh yeah. So I try not to kick myself for too long because I went back. Trust me, I watched every turnover with Coach Banghart. It was a very brutal film session. However, the only silver lining I found was that almost every turnover was different. Like shot clock violation, one travel, one ball thrown out of bounds, one I tried to catch it, but it got tipped. So everything was a little different. So
Sure.
it wasn't like I just could not stop traveling, because I think that would be a bigger issue.
Right.
But again, so that's how I'm justifying it to myself so I can stop crying about it.
Well,
and move
let's
on.
also not forget the Tar Heels won the game, and Alyssa did have a double-double with other things that were good for the
Yes.
winning formula.
Yes.
So that was good.
Yeah,
I feel like that's kind of an answer to a trivia question. Like, how many ways are there to turn the ball over?
that's
We
true.
know that there are many different ways, and Alyssa will now tell you
That's
what
right.
they are.
Yeah, don't ask me because I'll know all of them.
Have you been a little chippier this year on the court? I feel like I've seen you get in some like little scrums this year.
Yeah, no, I've definitely been a little chippier. I think I've just I've come to the realization that refs are not, in most cases, going to call little things, and I'm like, okay, so if she can do that, let me see what I can get away
Yeah.
with. And it's not in a way of just being mean or being a dirty player. It's everything I try to do is within the rules of the game. And also, I love playing the game with inside the game, which is the mental piece. And so if I'm bumping a girl around and she's like, gosh, I'm so tired of you. I'm like, yes, I won that little battle. And so then if that causes you not to run back faster on defense, great, I'm going to get a layup. So yeah, I try not to be too chippy, where it's extra, but I'm going to do what I can and play physical. Basketball is a contact sport, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to ride with it.
You been ripsticking at all?
No.
Oh,
No, I haven't.
Okay, so that's a callback to Alyssa's previous interview, which you should listen to. Okay, let's call back to something else. What's your toaster situation? Have you taken that on the road at all, or has that been retired?
It's kind of been retired for a little bit. I've been taking my own compression boots and recovery bands, and I take all the recovery stuff with me now. But I think that just kind of speaks to me being in my 5th year.
sure.
So I might be aging myself in the college realm right now.
So, speaking of aging, has anything happened this year where you have felt like I'm a lot older than some of these people? Like Lainey says something or something, and you're like, oh, wow, this kid is a child.
Yeah, there are so many. Specifically with Lainey. Lainey just loves to try to pick on me because I'm the age I am and of the age gap difference. And the first time is when I met Lainey and she was like, yeah, I just got my driver's license a couple months ago. And I was like, what? It's I just bought my first car a while ago. Finally, I've been saving up my money and I've had my license for so long. So yeah, it's definitely little moments like that. But generally our 5th years, our bodies are all pretty maintained. We do a good job of taking care of ourselves. But so it's really just moments like that. And then when birthdays come around, you're like, oh, wait, really? They're only turning 18?
Yeah.
It's weird.
Alyssa's slowly coming to the other side.
It's-
She's not there yet, but she's on the journey.
Yes.
Mortgage rates, Lainey, am I right?
Yeah.
Killing us.
Well, there's life insurance. Sure, the premium sure is high. All right, so it was December of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
How are you different now than you were then?
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing is I've been a lot of new places. I've experienced a lot of new things and gained a little bit of knowledge on the way. And I think one big thing that I think about is the NIL space. Before, I wasn't probably posting any videos, any content, much at all. And now that's a big part of my brand. And that's something I would not have expected to have changed in the last 3 years.
Sure.
So that's been an incredible experience. And it's been cool to kind of, through NIL, to develop what I'm want to explore my professional career. So that's helped a lot in that sense as well.
Like what?
I would love, well, right now I'm doing a lot of content creation. And although I wouldn't really want to do content creation for brands, social media wise, I would love to be a part of big ad campaigns. So whether that's the new launch of Asia Wilson's shoe that she just released, or LeBron is releasing something or has a big announcement, I would love to be a part of the production of that, or just on the creativity side to help produce that. And I had no idea that I had that creative interest until I had the opportunity of NIL, which encouraged me to continue posting videos and just express myself that way.
How do you keep it from being overwhelming?
Oh, it's overwhelming all the time. I think there's just like times where I have to read when I need to take a break. And that break is usually meaning like a day or two and just doing stuff that I enjoy, whether that's reading, watching a show, like going on a walk, talking to my family on the phone, FaceTiming people, just kind of find ways to reconnect to myself that help me feel refreshed and ready to go the next day. But yeah, there's definitely a lot of things to juggle nowadays.
What would you tell the Alyssa Ustby that was here in 2021? What, if you could give yourself some advice, what would it be?
I would probably say to like not question yourself or your abilities. I think the world is constantly trying to change you, and like even coaches and your peers are constantly trying to change you and like what they think is right for you or what they're just saying because that's the way they've always done it. And so just kind of taking a little more ownership in how I choose to develop and like what things I decide to let affect me.
Good.
Why do you think Carolina and Alyssa Ustby was such a perfect match? Like, it feels like Carolina's gotten a ton out of it, and it feels like you've gotten what you wanted out of it.
100%. I would say, I don't know, when I think of like Carolina and the athletes that have been here, and when I meet like Ivory Lotta and I talk to her and all these other athletes, there's just like a different type of drive and a different type of hungry that those athletes all were and that they still are today. And I think that I embody that as well. Like, and I'm also, obviously I want to play well and I want to have triple doubles on the right side of the stick. But I just have a continuous drive to be better. And I also want my program and the people that are around me to be better as well. So it's not just a solo mission. Like, I know I can't do it alone. And I want to make sure that I impact the people around me and help them reach their goals as well. Because, like, again, I know Carolina family's thrown around a lot, but I'm really passionate about making sure that all these girls on our team, like, everybody's improving and everybody, like, in every area, whether it's basketball or just in life.
Okay, before we let you go, what can this team achieve and how can it get there in your mind here over the last little bit of the regular season and then into the postseason?
Yeah, I think this team can achieve a lot, and I'm excited to come back and listen to this after the season. I would say first and foremost, I think we can make it to the ACC championship. This is something that's very doable. I love, like, whatever our route is to that championship, I know I'm going to love it, and I would love to see Notre Dame in that championship. I think Notre Dame specifically, their women's team has struggled beating us in the past, and this last year that we just played at home, I know we lost to them, but it felt like we had them the whole game, but a couple things didn't go our way, and we lost that one. But I have a lot of confidence that if anybody in the ACC is going to beat Notre Dame, it's going to be us. And so I have a lot of confidence in our team in that. And then also hosting the NCAA tournament. I know the men's side, so people who are familiar with that don't know that like the women do host sites. And so I think that would be a really cool opportunity. I know we're projected right now to host, but we got to make sure we solidify that with a couple more big wins.
If that is what happens, and if your last game at Carmichael is an NCAA tournament game, what will that be like to walk out there for what is, we all think, the last time and think I don't get to do this again?
It's going to be crazy. I'll probably be tearing up before the game and try to pretend it's not happening. And then after the game, I'm going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But yeah, I'm just excited. And I'm really grateful to keep playing with these girls. I've just had an amazing year.
And you'll get some thumbs up from Dad.
Of course, yeah. A double thumbs up is when I know I'm doing really good. A single thumbs up, I'm like, okay, got to stop turning the ball over.